final Armored Core 2 action figure, high-end action figure review. This is number 3. 03. This one is big and heavy. The package definitely feels heavier than the previous two. The first one is a pretty lightweight AC. The second one is kind of a medium weight, and this one is substantially heavier. There's even more packaging in here. There's another tray of with more parts. So we'll take a look at the back. I'll go ahead and pull it out so that we can actually get a better look at it. Now, as I said in the first review, these were opened when I got them. So for those of you who are freaking out and having heart attacks that I'm opening these, they were already open when I got them. And they already had some minor card damage. So I bought these because I wanted to check them out, and I really I liked this game, so I wanted to get these figures. Now this background is slightly different than the other two in that it has some text up here. Numerous corporations made inroads into Mars and created, in a span of approximately 20 years, the colony of Mars, resulting in a migration of 30 to 40% of Earth's entire population. The ongoing conflicts between the corporations on Earth continued on Mars, and armed disputes that were even more heated than on Earth were to unfold on the colony named Mars. The human race was once again carving out a brand new history. What this really meant was that the era of those called the Ravens had once again come around. None of the other packages had text there. I thought that was kind of cool. So here we have pictures of the AC. It's not fully equipped. It doesn't have all the parts like the others did in their picture. And I'm wondering why they did that. I mean, right here it only has the one accessory attached. It doesn't really talk about the accessories that it included, other than it just shows you that. You do have the overboost reproduced again. 26 points of articulation. For some reason this one has more than the others, because the others said 25. This one does come with 3 different heads, which is very cool. None of the others had extra heads. You know, you had extra hands, which a closed hand and an open hand, but no extra things like heads. So that was very cool. And up here you see 01 and 02. Looks like they did away with the 04 because they knew they weren't going to make it at that point. The original 2 had 01, you know, and then 2 and 3, or number 2 had 1 and 4 on there, and that kind of thing. So okay, so yeah, here we have figure out of the package. We'll start taking it apart and looking at all of the parts. Now we'll start with the extra heads, because these were included, and since they're already off, we'll go ahead and take a look at them. Now I forgot to look up the exact quote that the game had to say about these heads, but I'll tell you the part number. This is the ZHD -AG turret, and this is a very armored head. It's got good armor points, and it's got some great basics. A very useful head. Looks kind of funky. It almost looks like he's wearing a gas mask. It's kind of a funky looking head, but it was useful. It worked. This one here is the ZHD-8008/S, and I liked this head in the game because it had a great hacking function, so you could open locked doors a lot easier with this head. It looked a little strange. It's kind of a alien-ish, but it was a decent head. I liked it. It worked. And now the head that comes on the AC is the ZHD-2000-SV, or /SV. This head, these are all Zeomatrix, by the way. All these heads are Zeomatrix, and I believe all these parts are actually Zeomatrix parts. This was a good head. This was a head that had great radar function and also area and place memory. Looked pretty cool. Kind of looks like he's got a mohawk going on. So I found this one to be very useful, and I used it quite a bit. we'll go ahead and move on. Take off the arms here. Separate the core. Okay, so this is the core, and these figures were all named after which core they came with. This one, there's the overboost on this one. This core is called the ZCX-F/ROOK, and this was a kind of a heavyweight core, but it said it was the game said standard ZO model with many slots. And this had a decent amount of slots. I believe it was like 19. The one with the most slots had 21. So I mean, this didn't have the most slots, but it had enough. And it was a good stable core. It had lots of armor points in comparison to some of the other cores. It didn't have the most armor points, but it had enough. And yeah, so this was a good core. Now the arms. These are the ZAN-414/SLA. Now, in the game, these arms were not this big. They were not as bulky, didn't have as big of shoulder pads going on here. They really kind of messed with the scale a little bit, because when I built this AC in the game, these arms did not look like this. They were definitely smaller. This whole AC seems a little out of scale, and you see that more when you start to put all the parts and swap them around. The scale's it's close, it's not perfect, but these arms in the game were decent, had good armor points, good accuracy. They were okay. They weren't too bad. You know, it's all personal preference though. And now these legs are the ZLN-9001/A. These are ZO heavy legs, ZO Matrix heavy legs. They're very stable. They are super freaking slow. So they're not my favorite. I don't like to use them in the game. I like to be mobile, fast, quick. I like to be able to fly a lot in the game as well. So heavy legs that make you walk like a freaking tank that's super slow just are not good in my opinion. I don't like them. But here in the action figure world, in real life, these are actually the most articulated legs of the whole bunch. And that's probably why I said 26 points of articulation, because you have your ankle joint, which all of them have this ball joint, and then a knee joint, but then you also have a thigh swivel, which none of them really have. They were all on ball joints up here, so they had a minimal amount of rotation. If you watch the video of O2, you'll see me pop his leg off, because I'm trying to pose him, and I'm trying to get a little bit of a rotation out of the leg like this, and it just comes right out of the socket. So. But these are very good, very nicely designed and well-made legs. They're very stable, just like in the game, and they're super beefy, and they do look cool. Okay, so we'll put them back together, strip them down to the legs, pop these arms on, get them to stand a little bit more forward here. And we'll go with the head that was originally on it in the package, because it looks cool. And it works. They all work, but out of the three, I like it the most. Okay, so we're going to have to swap out the hand. Pop that out. Do not twist. Okay. So here are the back units. They're these big hard plastic pieces, better plastic than the plastic used in the actual figures, of the stealth parts. I mean, these are used for jamming enemy radar, that you have to select them when you're going through your weapons in the game, and you have to engage them. You get so many engages, and they last for a limited time. And they take both of your back weapon slots, so I did not like them. And they really were not effective against the computer. The computer always knows where you are. If you're in the arena, these are totally useless. If you're fighting against someone in real life, useful. But in the game, nah. You know, when you're fighting against the computer. So these go back here. Seem to like to start with the back weapons first, because they're usually the trickiest to get on, and I don't know, I just like to get them out of the way. We'll go ahead and put the arm weapon on. This is a giant freaking bazooka. This is the EWG B2 B1100. This is a slow-moving projectile. Does a lot of damage, but it's very easy to avoid. Whenever I fight an arena opponent who has this, I find it really easy to just get far enough away from them and just zigzag enough to just dodge their ammo and let them run out, deplete their supply. So, I never really liked to use this weapon, but I know how to fight against it. And it was pretty easy to avoid, like I said, so I never used it for that reason. And then these are the extension parts. Make sure, that fit onto the shoulders. These are also out of scale. They were not this big in the game. They were more like this big, half their size. So that's kind of obnoxious. A lot of unnecessary weight added to the thing. And what these do in the game is they boost you back super quick. Which, if you're doing a quick boost, I feel like going to either side or down or up is way more useful than back. Because if you're facing the missiles that are coming at you, boosting back real fast is not really going to get you out of the way. So, yeah, I never really used these. I didn't like them. There were some extension parts in the game that allowed you to boost down really quickly, and I used those. I liked those for avoiding missile attacks, but I did not like these. I didn't like them. Didn't think they were very useful. So there we have the AC all put together, and that's the third figure in the series.